Welcome to etvFutures.com. It's Thursday, January 24th. I'm Caitlin Sisney with your Commodities Recap. Crude in New York rose more than $2 a barrel after the Bush administration and House lawmakers announced an agreement on an economic stimulus package to avoid recession in the world's biggest energy-consuming country. The plan would distribute rebate checks to 117 million families and give businesses incentives to invest in equipment. Crude closed at $89.41 per barrel on the NYMEX. Natural gas also rose and closed at $7.809 per million British thermal units. Gold topped $900 an ounce in New York for the first time in a week after the dollar dropped against the euro, boosting the appeal of the precious metal as an alternative investment. Gold closed at $911.40 an ounce. Platinum futures surged to a record of $1,613 an ounce and ultimately closed at $1,609. Silver closed at $16.455 an ounce. Today we're joined by Tom Puckett from KIS Futures. He'll give his recap of today's action in the commodities market.
As we look at the week's progress so far in the various markets, energies, metals, as well as other that are financially connected, kind of a wild week. We've seen some very interesting turns in the Dow, for example, down below 12,000. Now we're back up above 12,000, showing some strength. The news for the last couple of days has been that the big troubles might be upon us. The R word has been threatened around, and now all of a sudden we find ourselves coming back up a little higher. With the Dow at about 12.3 to 12.4, it's looking like the market still has some pretty good health in it. Across the Atlantic, looking at the euro currency dollar mix, we see the dollar pressed down and the euro up a bit at 147.52 right now on the euro and 75.79 on the dollar. And this is relating directly to the price of gold because as the rate was cut by the Fed on the loan rate, about 3/4 of a point on an emergency basis, gold became the haven. The dollar was pressed down, and a lot of the Europeans went to gold as well as locals as well. So we have the dollar, the gold, I should say, trading above $910, depending on the futures upon which month and delivery. We're looking at 912 out to about 925, even 930 in the back months. So we have a very strong gold presence right now. Silver, likewise, is up today about 45 to 50 cents. In the $16.50 to upwards of that towards $17 range, both in near record territory, if not outright record territory, at least for recent trade. The response, no doubt, has to do with the look of the economy, and yet we look at the fact that today, after the bad news of the last few days, we see the market still pretty strong. It's interesting to see that the equities are up, the S&P and the Dow both positive, getting equity growth going positive at the same time we have gold moving up. The silver market is following right along, and so the trade is very, very active, and it's perhaps almost into a whipsaw market, but at the same time there's justification for the positions that are being taken, no doubt. In the energies across the other side, we had the petroleum stocks come out this morning showing that, for example, crude oil, actual stocks are up 2.3 million barrels this week as compared to last week, yet we are a little below last year. The gasoline stocks are up about 5 million barrels compared to last week, and in the range, actually slightly under last year, so pretty strong there. The distillates are up in some phases, but overall they're down about 1.3 million barrels. Strategic petroleum hadn't been tapped. In fact, it's where it's been for some time and larger than a year ago. So basically, the look of the market as we finish out the week tomorrow might be looking to see a little profit-taking potential both in the gold and silver as well as in the energies. At the same time, the dollar, even though it's in the 75 to 76 cent range right now, may start offering some attractive positions on the long side, whereas the euro may go contrary, as it has been, might attract some shorts into the market. Overall, the economy looks like it's pretty good. Things are doing pretty well, and the doom and gloom sayers that seem to be looking for headlines don't seem to be lasting too long in the market. So things certainly can be very changeable, and every trade, every position needs to be carefully scrutinized, both as to assuming the trade and staying in the trade. So looking at Friday tomorrow, I think we're going to have a very interesting week, and the weeks ahead I think are going to be perhaps heading toward that so-called magic $1,000 gold range in the metals. Whether we do or not will depend strictly upon the trade, but definitely the energy and the mindset is there.
Thanks, Tom. That's all for your Commodities Recap. I'm Caitlin Sisney. Join us later this evening on PM Exchange right here on etvFutures.com.